Recently, a documentary called Ice Cold Gold was featured on the Animal Planet television network. In that documentary, Bailey area prospector Chad Watkins went on an adventure with 7 other miners. It has been the first time that American gold miners have set foot on one of the most untouched places in the world, Greenland, looking for fortune.
It's so spectacular. It's just a geologist's dream. That's all I can say.
Oh my God. God's country, Gator.
Watkins told the Flume that their initial goal was to find gold in Greenland.
The continent, the island of Greenland is vastly unexplored. Our goal is to be the first in on some of these new areas to find gold. Right behind that, our focus not only was gold, but any mineable commodity, be it silver, copper, nickel, gemstones like diamonds, sapphires, rubies. We were really looking for everything we could over there.
Greenland is a beast.
There's gold in these mountains, but there's a reason it's still there.
Ice Cold Gold is a 6-episode series that was filmed starting last August, and it has been aired since April 21st of this year.
Here, only the bold can make their fortune.
Last August, the team went to an island north of Nuuk, the largest city in Greenland.
We're the only American company there right now. But it's so big and untouched, and it's a very expensive place to prospect, and you've got such a limited season. In a perfect world, we've got maybe 3 to 4 months at the very outside to do what you're going to do before winter sets in. And our company and our group, we're taking the approach that you start at the beginning and go with the basics. We prospected with gold pans and shovels, sluice boxes, magnifying loops. We were on the ground for 8 weeks looking physically for whatever we could find.
I think what we're going to do is me, Jack, and Chad are going to go just head up over here while you guys are going that way.
Based on geological research, it's proven that gold deposits are in that area, and so it seemed that the miners should have a good chance to succeed in finding them.
The prospecting we were doing in Greenland, we had a geologist with us. Eric Drummond is a very capable, well-known geologist, and he looks at the geologic maps and the information, and based on the information that we're able to get, which is very limited because Greenland is so new.
Including the production crew, the team had 26 people all together in Greenland. Among the 8 miners, Chad Watkins was chosen to be on the team because of his 24 years of experience as a prospector.
I've always been into mining and mining history. Growing up here in Colorado, we're surrounded by it. Mining's what built our state. When the gold rush started in 1859, thousands and thousands of people came across the country and were, all over the mountains here trying to make their mark and, make their fortune. That's always been my dream. So I've been chasing that dream full-time for the last, like I said, 5 or 6 years now.
This journey was an opportunity for Watkins to potentially extend his business and prove his family, friends, and himself.
We want to make our company successful, but you want to prove to yourself also that you've got what it takes and that you can get out there and still, prospect and find. What we're doing over there, so few people do it and are capable of doing it. To not try and reach out for this kind of opportunity. I wouldn't be able to sleep at night knowing that I passed something like this up. And it's a way for me to prove to my family my friends that I know what I'm doing prospecting. That people still can go out into the world and, you know, follow a dream and a passion and become successful at it.
Watkins demonstrated to the flume what gold panning looks like.
For me, I specialize in finding gold in the rivers. I have a dredge that floats out on the water. I suck material up off the river bottom, and how and where I'm finding that gold in the river bottom tells me a story. It ends up in my sluice box. If I can tell in a short amount of time if the river, one, has gold in it, if the river has been worked before, or if it's still untouched. And then a lot of places, just the relics and the artifacts you find in the layers of the riverbed tell you a history about a place.
Prospecting gold has brought Watkins many interesting stories.
Up in Fairplay, you know, we find old gold pans in the river. On occasion, you find the stray Chinese coin or artifact from the Chinese camp that was up there. You find, over the years, I've dredged a gold tooth out of the river. And near that spot where we found the tooth, we found two pistols. There's a story there. You don't always know the story, but it's fun. It's treasure hunting.
But the shifting boulders above could give way at any moment, making this a very risky mission.
Small sample. It's better than no sample at all.
Gold mining doesn't just bring fortune, it often comes with risks.
Holy smokes! All right, I'm out.
There's always risks. There's financial risk because, you know, we're throwing a lot of money at this, and if you don't come up with anything, it's gone. It's a huge gamble. There's personal risk. I have a friend of mine was killed in his mine up near Alma just a little over a year and a half ago. In Greenland, the terrain is extremely steep. There are rock slides. You know, we were having a meeting, and we heard a rumble outside, and we go outside, and half the mountain was coming down, about a mile or so away from our camp. That was a spot that we were at the day before. They're in an environment where the landscape is constantly changing and constantly moving. So there's, you know, it's a calculated risk. When you're up on the side of a cliff or underneath something that can come down on you, the reality of it is you could be killed doing what you're doing.
Even with the risks, Watkins never thought about giving up.
Giving up for me is not an option. If I lose the passion for what I'm doing, or become too afraid to get in the water and do what I do, or go underground into a mine, or just up in the mountains, then it's time for me to quit. But right now, quitting's not an option.
Watkins' own business that operates in Fairplay is Bailey-based Tin Pan Prospector Outfitters. Although he has traveled to many places around the world, he's never been in any places remotely like Greenland.
We are in the planning stages of going back now. We don't know if we're going back. It's extremely expensive. For us, for the 8 of us, to put our money together and continue forward, that's what we're looking at now. With summer rapidly approaching, we need to come to a decision very quickly. We want to go back. We don't know if we're going back yet.
To Chad Watkins, Greenland is only one stop in his journey. As he said, it's a continual process.
24 years I started out by myself with just a gold pan. And then I went up in the mountains, and after a few weeks started finding a little bit of gold. Once you find a little bit, you want to find more. They talk about gold fever. It's a real thing. But over the years, you learn how to temper that, because you realize that you're not going to strike out and just go to any place and find millions of dollars in gold in the stream. Those big days do happen, but they're far and few in between, and very few people ever really get rich at mining anymore, especially on the level that I'm doing it myself. Everything I do is very small scale. You know, after I learned how to find a little bit of gold, you start to meet people doing the same thing. You buy more equipment, and just like any passion that you develop in life, you always want to learn more about it. So I'm always reading and doing research and finding better ways to do what I do. Even as early as yesterday, talking to a friend of mine, I learned some things about an area that I didn't know. So it's a continual process.